Right now, Fox 5's Crime in the City. Here are the crimes across the 5 boroughs. We begin in Flushing, Queens, where NYPD officers made a gruesome discovery while investigating a car crash.
Police have not connected anybody to the shooting or released the names of any suspects, but they are hoping that eyewitnesses will help them piece together exactly what may have happened here. Now, one man who was in the neighborhood yesterday say he saw the driver get out of one of those cars, the black Range Rover SUV. The driver looking disheveled, looking nervous. Then the man says he ran away.
My impression was I thought it was an auto accident. And I just came home right now and I've seen all these police officers, so I'm thinking, wow, why would there be so many officers for an auto accident? And I'm just realizing right now that it was a crime scene.
What at first seemed to be a minor car crash in Flushing, Queens, led police to a gruesome discovery. Investigators say 109th Precinct officers responded to the intersection of Parsons Boulevard and Franklin Avenue at around 4:15 yesterday afternoon for reports of a collision involving a white van and a black Range Rover SUV. When police got there, they found an unconscious 48-year-old man in the back of the Range Rover with a gunshot wound to the back of the head. They say the driver got out of the car and took off. Jimmy Bear, who was in the neighborhood with his 3-year-old son, says he saw that driver make a run for it.
I saw a gentleman, or the suspect, running around the white van, and he was carrying a large bag, and he ran across here, went across that sidewalk there, and went down on the, I think that's the street down there heading towards Roosevelt Avenue.
Emergency crews rushed the man in the back of the Range Rover to Flushing Hospital, but it was already too late. He was pronounced dead within hours. The driver of the white van, in the meantime, was taken to a local hospital in stable condition. This Citizen app video shows a massive police response with cops blocking off the streets and ambulances at the scene as some onlookers even passed by in awe.
We saw a commotion going on. I saw the super and a UPS driver kept looking onto this corner here.
A preliminary investigation found that the white van was stopped at a red light facing southbound on Parsons Boulevard when the black Range Rover traveling northbound hit the van head on. It's unclear how fast the driver was going at the time of the crash, but police say the man in the back of the car was fatally shot before it happened. What's also unclear at this point, why that man was shot in the first place or who may have been responsible.
This is a very nice neighborhood, and to see something like this going on around here is unheard of.
Yeah, so many questions that have yet to be answered. Another thing still unclear is if that man was shot while he was sitting in the backseat of the car or if it happened elsewhere.
We now go to Lower Manhattan, where a custodian working to clean a subway station was brutally attacked by a man with a metal pipe.
So it was an unprovoked attack. It happened inside the Chambers Street station last Friday morning. Investigators say the woman, 46 years old, was just cleaning an E-train subway platform when this person struck her in the face with a metal pipe. She was taken to the hospital. She's swelling and bruising all over her face. Do you recognize this guy? If you do, please call Crime Stoppers 1-800-577-TIPS.
Over in Midtown Manhattan, the NYPD arrested a woman accused of stabbing a patron at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
It's Friday night at 10 in Midtown Manhattan, and instead of enjoying sizzling steaks and steaming baked potatoes, patrons of Ruth's Chris Steakhouse are surrounded by police cars. The authorities were called after a patron stabbed another with her steak knife.
I wouldn't stab nobody with a knife, though, but I would definitely walk away and leave out and rate this place as a bad place.
But this story is beyond just a bad review. Police say the situation escalated when a 24-year-old patron started arguing with an employee. They say 41-year-old Joan Thompson and her companion, seated at another table, overheard the argument and tried to intervene, but instead, Thompson got sucked into the squabble, too. That's when suddenly police say Thompson reached for a steak knife and plunged it into the man's back. So you might be wondering how Thompson became involved in another table's argument. Well, Ruth's Chris employees who declined to go on camera told me that the 24-year-old patron was physically aggressive with Thompson and made some racial remarks. Ruth's Chris responded saying, "We were shocked by the incident," which ended with Thompson fleeing, her bill unpaid, and the 24-year-old man in the hospital he'll be okay. 24 hours later, police found Thompson, charging her with assault and menacing, a task made easier since Ruth's Chris requires reservations and personal information.
It's a dangerous place. Everybody got to be safe.
Ashley Rodriguez, Fox 5 News.
In Elmhurst, Queens, thieves steal 26 vehicles from a car dealership, the second big car heist within a month.
This car dealership on Queens Boulevard became a crime scene after 26 luxury vehicles were stolen right off the lot. It's the second big car heist in less than a month and part of a disturbing trend. The NYPD tells us that car thefts are up 34.2% over last year. The Carcieri car dealership on Queens Boulevard and Neelan Street was targeted sometime Sunday night going into Monday morning. Police tell us the thieves first cut power to the location so there would be no surveillance video. Then they broke the locks on the security gates and broke into the office and took the keys. Over multiple return trips, they got away with 26 vehicles worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. On October 13th, the NYPD says a dealership on Liberty Avenue in Jamaica experienced a similar loss. Police say the same tactics were used to gain entry to the lot and to the vehicles. The thieves made off with 19 luxury vehicles worth over $800,000. Police have recovered 2 of them, a BMW and a Mercedes. I spoke with the on-site manager here, but he declined to speak with us on camera. Detectives are investigating whether there's a connection between both incidents.
In Manhattan's East Village, the NYPD has announced the seizure of hundreds of vials of cocaine, decks of heroin, and cash from a drug dealer in Tompkins Square Park. But residents who frequent the East Village Park tell Fox 5 that police have only skimmed the surface of a much seedier situation.
It's a beautiful fall afternoon in the East Village's Tompkins Square Park. The children are playing, the dogs are barking, and underneath the falling leaves, the evidence of illicit drug use is lurking.
I've been in the neighborhood for 12 years. We've seen in the past year things that we haven't seen ever.
Park goers say the sight of crack smoking and needle injecting is the new norm here. Fox 5 photographer Gus Bautista and myself found numerous needles in baggies in just a matter of minutes. A man openly filling his pipe tried to help us by recommending we look in the biohazard trash can the park provides.
It affects you emotionally to see it, right? I think it's very sad to see somebody doing drugs.
We reached out to the NYPD, who says officers are aware of the condition of the park. They told us that each day officers are deployed inside the park and each night it's locked and lit up.
They're inconsistently locking the park at night because of manpower, and so we're filing 311 complaints.
Allie Ryan helped create the group Friends of Tompkins Square Park in a desperate attempt to help clean the underfunded park that's become a hazard to their pets and their kids.
Kids are just picking them up thinking we're just tiny colorful collector's items.
The NYPD tweeted Tuesday its public safety team recovered 242 vials of cocaine, 108 decks of heroin, and $834 from a drug dealer, promising to deploy more resources.
We'll see people shooting up and dealing drugs, prostitution, and the same thing in the afternoon as well. It's very disturbing.
And finally, we go to the Claremont section of the Bronx, where the NYPD is hoping to bring some attention to a 2-year-old cold case involving 2 dead infants.
Clergy came together with members of the community and the NYPD to remember 2 innocent newborn twin boys found dead. Police naming the babies Zeke and Zane.
Justice for Zeke and Zane.
Detectives are asking for the public's help in finding the mother. The case has gone cold. It was 2 years ago today that the superintendent of this apartment building on College Avenue in the Claremont section of the Bronx found the newborns just hours old in the afternoon near the garbage behind the building.
The first baby is discovered on the ground here, wrapped in a blue whitish, wee-wee pad that you would use underneath your dog.
The second infant was found wrapped in a garbage bag about 30 feet away.
One baby had blunt force trauma to the head, and the other baby had blunt force trauma to the stomach.
As if they had been beaten.
Correct.
They do not believe anybody in this building is associated with the mother, the father, or the babies. They think what happened was somebody walked through this alleyway here in between these two apartment buildings in the back, climbed over this fence, and then dumped the babies back here.
The mother's DNA was found on the garbage bag.
All residents in the building gave us their DNA and fingerprints. None of them match any of the DNA that we recovered.
And the baby's DNA does not match any found in databases. NYPD detectives held a funeral and burial for the newborns after their death.
I think you get emotionally connected to any of these jobs, right? We're human, but this was a little something extra.
There is a $10,000 reward. If you have any information, you can call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-577-TIPS.
That's this week's Crime in the City.